What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone preview time. We play tomorrow Benfica Champions League, last game of the group stage. Not last Champions League game of the season, but it's the last game of the group stage in what could be a meaningless game in terms of what it actually means. You're qualified. If you win, you get a better opponent depending on what happens in the other games as well. Like it can flip really quickly. Obviously, you go out there to win that game because it's a game that you need to build. I don't know what at this stage after that loss against Napoli. So they're gonna probably approach it as they should, and you hope they approach it in the way they should approach it. But yeah, the pressure is not really on result wise. I think the pressure is more on performance wise. Again, can you change? Can you win games? Like it sounds simple, but yeah, can you win games? Can you control games? Can you see out games? Can you dominate games? Can you whatever at that time tomorrow against a team that I don't know which Benfica we can get. If we get the Benfica of the last weeks, then it's a Benfica that's excuse me, all over the place, that can attack very well and cannot defend very well and make very weird mistakes, individual mistakes, and then you get a very open game, which you should benefit from. But you don't know which Benfica side you're gonna get tomorrow. I'm not even sure if they're qualified already. I think they qualify mathematically, but anyway, they will come to play, obviously. So it's going to be a real game. And some players, I will get into the lineup later in the show, are going to get a chance to, I don't know, prove Mota wrong or right, and that scenario, prove the fans wrong or right, because some players are not there, they cannot play, and some players are back and they're going to get a shot to show anything, what has been missing the last couple of weeks, because some players are not getting the minutes they hope to get, or are not going to keep getting the minutes they're getting right now. And I think tomorrow should be a game to set the record correct, I guess, but that's for later down the show. Mota spoke, Conceição spoke, so we'll get into that later in the show. First off, I want to talk about obviously what happened the last couple of days, because I haven't been live yesterday. Transfer wise, nothing happened. Like I think everybody predicted. It's a couple of days before the end of the window. It was very clear what was going to happen, and like I said weeks ago, and people were like, oh, it's only the first week, it's only the second week of January. Giuntoli failed in that regard. Horrible job in January. Nobody knows if we improved, and nobody knows what Alberto Costa is. Absolutely no clue. Colomani, yes, maybe, but we were all looking at that backline that needed help. And Vega, we have absolutely no idea if he's going to succeed, yes or no. That didn't play much. Didn't really play as a center back as much as anyone would hope for, considering our needs. But he got him, but yeah, very late, and there's no certainty at all, and so yeah, he failed. And whatever happens right now, I don't really care about. Even if Cambiasso leaves, I think everybody, is considering that already, made peace with the fact that, yeah, he can leave, and the club will panic in the last couple of days, probably, unless something insane happens. But there's no indication that something crazy is going to happen in the last, I don't know, 3-4 days it is right now. I think 4. I think it is, or 3. It depends. So yeah, that's that. So nothing really to talk about transfer-wise. However, the last couple of days have all been about Danilo / the club, the situation of the club, which is kind of tied. It goes hand in hand because he called out the situation at the club. I think everybody read his statement or listened to his farewell message, and everybody saw what he had to say today before he took the plane to, I don't know, Brazil. He's signing for, is it Flamengo he's signing, or Fluminense? I think it's Flamengo he's signing, right? Anyway, I think everybody read the quotes, saw everything that has transpired with his quotes, and yeah, and the reaction from even the media as well to it. So he basically threw the club under the bus. That's basically that. He did it in a very smart way. I need to give it to him, because he talked about something that I think we all can agree on. I would agree on that. This project looks weird or whatever, and that the club is for the fans, and that the fans should be, the main stage basically of, or the center of attention in general. And yeah, I agree, like 100%. The fans are the club. Like I said it many times. If we don't exist, the club doesn't exist. The football just doesn't exist. It's all about the fans at the end of the day. And we have more power than anyone could imagine, if we all agree on things, obviously. Otherwise it's not. And that's why certain clubs who have been very average for the last, I don't know, decades, Arsenal, for example, Man U lately, get away with it, because fans do not agree. And a lot of fans keep, not support, like, you can support the club, but like not make an impact where the club is like, okay, hold on, we need to do something, because we're not going to keep these fans happy at all at any time. So I agree what he had to say. However, my issue, excuse me, my issue is that he's the wrong messenger to deliver that statement. That's the only thing. That's the main point, because if this came from another player, and not even a player at the club right now, I would be like, yeah, man, like I'm with you 100%, but not from him. He's a player who benefited from mismanagement. The reason he's at the club was because mismanagement. The reason he's at the club is not because Paratici loved Danilo. The reason he's at the club is because we needed money, and you can look it up, we needed money before the end of the month in that summer. Literally, that's like it was like the Spinazzola one. Also, we needed money before the 31st, I think it was, at the end of the month, and we did the Spinazzola Pellegrini swap, and everybody was like, what the hell is this? We needed money, plus Valenza. That's why Danilo is at the club. Mismanagement. Not because the club rated him. And he remained at the club because the club completely fell apart, and for some reason they succeeded to make him the poster boy of I don't know what, basically, and he stayed at the club. And he benefited of that. He never came out and said, man, the mismanagement, the fantasy, whatever, how did he call it? Fantasy project. He never said that when he was at the club and he was playing, and it was not good, by the way, and the club was suffering. He never came out or there was any leaks. Do you think if he got moved on with Allegri at the club and whatever, he came out and he would have said that? No. The thing that changes, Motta came out and he doesn't rate him. That's it. He doesn't rate him. And he told him, that he's not first choice. He told him that. And he's not the captain anymore. It's a new coach. It's new rules. That's one. And two, some are acting like he stripped Del Piero of the captaincy. No, he didn't do that. He stripped somebody of the captaincy who's not good enough as a footballer, period. That's what he did. And he was not happy with that, which is fair, by the way. He can be very mad about that. However, it's new coach. What you did with Allegri or other coaches doesn't, like the new one coming in, he doesn't care about that. Why would a new coach come in and be like, yeah, I'm going to stick with you. That's what I'm going to do. Why would a new coach do that? He has his own ideas. He has his own methods, good or bad. Like we will see at the end of the season or right now. We can debate that. But a new coach, it's new rules. It's new ways. It's everything. It's new. And you need to, if you are a real captain, like many claim you are, and you actually love the club, like you claim you do, then you don't go out and throw the club under the bus. Not you, when you benefited of mismanagement over the years. That's why you are at the club. That's why you're on a lot of money. And that's why you got away with playing just bad football. But you got away with it because the club was mismanaged. But at that point, he was okay with that. But the moment somebody else came in, he calls it out. And he's like, and we're already in a tricky situation. And he comes out and he says all these things. And I'm like, what are you even on about? Like, what are you talking about? Because at the end of the day, and that's for me, and actually everybody will probably agree with that. 10 years from now, nobody's going to talk about Danilo. 20 years from now, 30 years from now. If you're old, you probably won't even remember Danilo. Because he didn't add anything to the club where I'm like, I'm going to remember him. When people are like, oh, but he won a trophy. So did Paduin. He won I don't know how many trophies. We only remember Paduin because it's vibes. We don't like Paduin because he was an unbelievable baller and he was a great leader. No. It was just vibes, and he was there when we were winning trophies. But you're not going to talk about these players. If you want to bring up trophies, there was a list of players who won more trophies, even in the past 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Nobody talks about them because they don't have a significant impact on the club. What he said, for me, was not okay because he's a wrong guy to talk about it. He benefited of mismanagement at the club. And he came out and he did a statement, and he did it in a very tricky and a sneaky way. And he kind of masked it towards like, oh man, see, we all think that, so I'm going to do that. So everybody's going to sympathize with me. We all know that. You're not the guy to need to tell us that. And when he talks about management and stuff, he brings up a quote from Agnelli, and he knows what he's doing with that. He knows what he's doing with that quote from Agnelli. And I'm like, buddy, when Agnelli was here the last couple of years, the club was mismanaged. We are in this situation because the club was mismanaged even under Agnelli before he left, those years before he left. And you benefited from that. And that you do not want to, take a shot at, that you want to use to take a shot at the new guys in place, who, by the way, are getting criticized by me, by all of us, for very good reasons. But man, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. And he gets away with it, and I don't get why. I don't get why. Like, I absolutely do not understand why. It got so bad that he's going to get compared to players who actually really contributed to this club. Really. And I don't care if they played in a good era or in a bad era. If you're good, people will remember you. I remember Momo Sissoko. I remember it. We were absolutely rubbish at the time. And when I say rubbish, we were bad. Like, the stadium we played in, the atmosphere, the squad we have, it was just horrible to watch. It was horrible to watch. But I remember Sissoko because he was one good footballer. He was talented. He was so talented as a player. And every time I watch him, when you watch Juve back in the days, you didn't watch for the team. You watch for individuals. That's it. You didn't watch because you were going to see a good team performance back in the day. That was not the case. I watched for individuals. I watched Del Piero play. I watched Sissoko play. When we got Diego, I watched Diego play. But it flopped obviously for him. But I watched for individuals at the time. Everybody, I remember Sissoko because he was a baller. Wrong time, but I'm gonna remember him because he was a baller, and he was actually talented, and he had a place in a good Juve side. I think maybe not as a starter, but just there. I'm not gonna remember him. So when he said that, I'm like, cool, but you're the wrong messenger. And you make that statement, farewell statement with shots in it, and I'm like, I got into it and I was like, okay, that's cool. You care about the club. You love the club. I'm not going to knock anyone for loving the club. Like, that makes no sense. I'm like, cool. You can love the club and you can be sad that you are leaving. That I can understand, no matter who the player is, by the way. I can understand that, and that's fair. But the moment you take that and use that to take shots at the club, who's already in trouble right now, I'm like, come on, you cannot do it. If he came out back in the day, a couple of years ago, when he was playing and the club was falling apart, and he called it out and he was like, man, something needs to change all over the club. Even like a simple quote, I would have taken what he said perfectly. I'm like, fine. That's cool, because back in the day, we knew you were not backing the club and what the hell they were trying to do. And I'm like, fine. But man, you benefited from those situations. Now you cannot turn around and call out this management and call it a fantasy project just because the new coach came in and he didn't rate you. He preferred Serie C players over you. That's how much the new coach didn't rate you. You got hurt. You didn't like it, and that's cool. But coming out and say these things is weird. If you actually love the club, you don't say these things. If you love the club, if like the way he claims in that video, and I thought he was gonna cry in that video. If you love the club like you do, you come out and you do not put out those statements to create even more drama surrounding the club. You do not do that. Players who meant more for the club, and I'm not comparing them to those players, but I'm bringing it up because players like Marchisio and Del Piero, and even like they got kicked out of the club. Done. Leave. Goodbye. They had every reason to call out the club, but they didn't do that because they love the club and they knew it will create a media whatever storm, and nobody is gonna benefit from that. Not the club, not the fans, nobody. But this guy claims to love the club, goes out, says these things, and today actually repeats those things. He said, well, you know what I was trying to say. I'm like, yeah, everybody knows what you're trying to say because we're all saying the same thing. Then he brings up the thing about, oh, the club is for the fans, just to, get people's attention. I'm like, yeah, it is for the fans, but the club is also not for average players. That's the reason why we're in this situation. That's the reason why you're one of those players that got moved out of the club. And you're not the only one, by the way. You're not the only one who needs to leave or is not good enough. We all know that. But hey, they made a decision. You're the first one and you're gone. That's it. So I didn't like what he did. It's finally over. Whatever this was the last couple of years, it's finally over. Paratici made money. He cleared the books, and that's about it. Other than that, nobody won. Like, absolutely nobody won in this situation because we lost a talented player in Cancelo, and we gained, I don't know what we gained. We gained a player. Like, we had thousands in our history. I don't know, hundreds in our history. Like, yeah, absolutely horrible situation. But yeah, what he had to say yesterday and today, I'm like, yeah. Good message, wrong person. I like, you're not the one who should be bringing that up. I didn't like what he said or whatever the project is. Yeah, man, he's just pissed, and he threw them all under the bus. That's what he said. I'm gonna remember his first goal and the last game against City. That's all. That's about it. His first goal, because that was an iconic game as well. That was a crazy game, and the game against City was unbelievable. Other than that, I don't know that like. I cannot recall Danilo. I cannot recall them, actually. I can recall a Sissoko game against Fiorentina. Unbelievable game. Unbelievable game. One against Inter as well. He was unbelievable, though. I remember those games. I cannot recall games for... I struggle to even recall Paruin games. And he won more, and I don't know how many years has he been at the club? 3, 4? I cannot recall games from Paruin, for example. He could wait on and win himself in a month or so, not upon. Also, the wage thing, I don't get it. People are like, oh, he left money on the table. No, he didn't. He has a new contract at a new club. He didn't. He wanted to leave. They agreed with the club to leave. The club was like, cool, we want a transfer fee. If not, you stay and you sit out the season. Didn't leave money on the table. You got a new job. Like, if you're going to leave your job and you have a new one lined up, my boss is not going to pay me off. I need to do my, whatever you call it in English, work my way out in 2, 3, or 1 month. And then I can go to my new job and they pay me. So I don't even get that one as well, because the club never said leave and we are not going to pay you. The club was looking for a sale. They were looking for money. They were looking for money. They were not ripping up the contract. Nobody was going to pay us the money. The club realized that, and at that point, they agreed on it. If not, then you're just going to stay and sit on the bench and you be one of the options if we need you. Weird. And the club shoved it down our throats on Instagram, captain. That was I don't get it. That was so forced and fake. Loving the club is a great additional to being talented and contributing to win. 100%. Yeah. Any player who thinks this guy is you, Cat or whatever, should do as well. I don't really care what Danilo says. Usually, like I don't, but it got so blown up, and everybody was like, "Yeah, man, he's right," and he is right. But I'm like, you benefited of that, so it's too late. Like you were part of it, and you never questioned it, and now you want to question it because they don't like you. He doesn't have a position and is aging. Why is he butthurt? He's playing with Sandro Masil, right? And he's returned to his country. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why he's out there as well. He could have joined Napoli, fine, but yeah, I mean, cool. You didn't say that. You didn't join them, and that's cool, I guess. But again, if he joined Napoli or Inter, I wouldn't care. I didn't even care Quadrado joined Inter, by the way. And he literally meant more for the club. He did more for the club. And he played longer for the club. I didn't mind him joining Inter. I'm like, yeah, like you play for Inter, it's gonna be banter from now. But I don't hate Quadrado because I don't think you're that guy in our club future, in our club history. So when he didn't join Napoli, and everybody's like, oh my god, what a true Juve fan, a legend. I'm like, come on, like like I don't get it. Like if we're gonna do that with all these players, then we were gonna stay mediocre for a very, very long time, you know. But yeah, it is what it is. We move on. We move on because we play Benfica, and I want to go into the lineup. Not gonna be, not gonna be a long show because the presser Conceição and I wanted to say Allegri, Mota did was not very insightful. I mean, it was like, especially Conceição one, like it was more about, you know, I pursue Vega. I told Vega, this is a big club, you need to join. He said that the quality of football is harder in Italy than Portugal. I'm like, yeah, like makes sense. That he wants to improve, that he wants to do more, that he likes the club. You know, it's fun to play against a Portuguese team, like the very like Champions League type of presser. So nothing much from Conceição, only that he's at the presser, so that means he's gonna start. Mota's presser was also not very insightful. Basically saying the same thing. You know what we all agree on the last couple of weeks, where we're not playing well, or like we might be playing well in spells, but we cannot string a game together, and we need to start winning games. And he talked about Vlahovic, obviously saying that he's working hard, he believes in him, he's always, you know, there to help the team and so on. Like the very usual things, nothing spicy until it came to the Cambiasso question, because I see a lot of people talking about Cambiasso. He talked about Cambiasso and he kind of misspoke, I hope, and he said that, like the way he said it was like, yeah, Cambiasso, we kind of agreed on that he's out for a bit, or he's not here because he wants to fully heal that ankle. And maybe it's still not 100% healed. Maybe it could be. I don't know, you know. But the timing feels off. Like let's be completely honest. It's not about conspiracy theory. It feels off. It feels like more of a, yeah, you're not 100% fit, so let's not risk it really. And also your head is not really into it because nobody knows what's probably going to happen. Is he going to stay? Is he going to leave in the next couple of days? However, nobody knows. So it could be, I think it's a mixture of all, where he's not 100% and his head is not right. And, you know, the club is like, fine, you know, we will see in the next couple of 3 days. If not, then you're back, basically. Now, if that's the case, I do have an issue with it. I do have an issue with it, with Cambiasso, because I hope it's not the case, because I don't hope he's that type of player. I don't believe he's that type of player as well. That he's like, I don't give my all when I'm out on that pitch for this club. I refuse to believe that. But if that's the case, then that is a really bad look, right? You know, if you're potentially on the move, but there is no move, and you need to play up to a high standard. You need to give it your all. Like, you cannot just stroll about basically and be like, yeah, I'm not really gonna be here maybe, so do I need to go 100% in a 50-50 challenge? Do I need to do that? Is his mindset right? We don't know all these things. However, if that's the case, then it is very worrying. I see what I also do not like is that he's having a bad moment because we all know, excuse me, but we all know the quality he possesses, and he's not playing well after that injury, and that was even before there were links with Man City. So I don't really think it's all on the Man City links. I think he's just in a bad moment. What I don't like is that we forget what he was actually at and be like, oh, even sell him for 50 or 60, whatever. I think if we sell him right now, we're not going to get the 80, 70. It will be around 60 and probably closer to the 57 or something million euros. My thing is that the backline is weakened. And I'm not even sure if we improved it. Like I said, Alberto Costa, who knows? Is he really going to play? Is he actually going to play? And with Vega, we have no idea. You're going to take out even more without replacing him. That I do not understand. That is weird. That is my issue with it. I've always said, I don't care which player it is. If the player asks the club, tells the club, I do not want to be here, you move him on. Period. Now, if more and more players start doing that, then it's a worrying sign. Why is everybody asking the club to leave? Then I'm like, pause. Something is really, really wrong right here. But if it's one player and he's like, leave, I want to leave, get me out, you take the best price. Obviously, our price, that is also one of the issues. We usually try to give players away, and you move on because there's no point in keeping a player who's not really committed to the cause. That means he's not going to play for you hard. He's not going to play well as well. Teammates cannot rely on him, and it's just going to be a mess, in the media, questioning. Like, it's good for absolutely nobody. So if a player asks to leave, I'm like, cool, you don't want to be here, move on and carry on. However, the timing is off. It's a 29th of January. Like, how are you going to solve that? You're going to make it worse. You're going to make it even more harder than it already is. That's the things I have. So that was the only thing. He's out, and we will see if he's back for the game on Sunday against Empoli. I think it's on Sunday against Empoli. Okay, let's get into the potential lineup, which is not going to be what people think it is. So it is Di Gregorio because Perin is not 100% fully healthy, and I think also as well in Champions League it's probably going to be Di Gregorio anyway. Gatti and Kalulu because we have nobody else. Still Vega just here, but cannot play in the Champions League now. Savona, McKennie because Cambiasso's injured. Locatelli gets a start. Thuram benched again. Douglas Luiz gets another shot. Colt Miners never benched, so Colt Miners plays. Conceição plays. Yul is on the bench once again. And Vlahovic up top because I saw the headlines, new chance whatsoever. Colomani is not in the Champions League list, and you're going to play Vlahovic at this point. So that's the lineup. Again, that game for me is with no pressure because the result is not really going to impact us. I'm not thinking about who we're going to play. We messed up against Bruges because if we won that game, you could have won tomorrow and probably finished top 8 potentially. Then yes, the game had a lot of meaning. Right now, I'm not thinking about, we might get Real Madrid or we might get Lille. Like, whatever happens in the next round, it happens. It's really out of control because it depends on so many things. So whatever. Tomorrow's game is more about, can you put in a performance? Can you show us something that we like, that we can build on? Again, we've said it so many times. Just, is there any sort of change of mindset? That's the only thing I'm looking for right now. So I don't really have issues with that lineup. Whoever he picks tomorrow, I'm probably fine with it. I just need to see a performance. That's the thing I'm looking for. I think Giuntoli failed in the center back situation. I mean, it's January, main defenders out in October, and January is overpay. Yeah, he's done a terrible job. Hansko is gone in the summer. He has a contract until 28. I don't think he's gonna leave in January. I know people think that. I doubt it. I agree. I think only Moise Kean deal to Fiorentina was good financially. The rest, oh my god, yeah, a lot of deals were really poor. Hansko is pushing out. According to Dutch report, he's not really. So he just agreed terms with Juve, but if it happens in the summer, he's okay with it. Feyenoord's put a weird, easy condition this summer to move him out. Yeah, he's gone in the summer. If it's to us or somebody else, who knows? But he's out in the summer, but I don't think in January. But yeah, like I said, not a very long life. So prediction time for tomorrow. I'm gonna go Yeah, the easy bet is a draw, but I'm gonna go 2-1. 2-1. I think it's gonna be a very open game. Probably not a game we come out of it and be like, wow, fantastic. I think it will be a bit all over the place. I think we will give up quite a lot of chances. I think we'll create some chances. So yeah, 2-1. I'm just looking for a performance tomorrow and some responses from players like Quote Miners finally, Douglas Luiz, Conceição as well. I need Vlahovic. I need something from you as well. At Savona, who has not been playing okay as of lately as well. So 2-1 is my prediction. Let me know your prediction. Also, if you're rewatching this video. Other than that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back tomorrow. Match reaction. And the next live show is going to be Friday because I'm out on Thursday. So Friday, we will do a live show. And then, in the weekend, we build up to Empoli. Early kickoff on Sunday. But yeah, that's it for me, people. Thanks for watching. Have a